Hey everybody, KB Fit Break here. Today I want to talk to you about something you can use to visualize when you're trying to make your kettlebell technique more precise. You can use this both for kettlebell sport or kettlebell hardstyle technique. Doesn't matter, it's going to apply to either one. So what I want you to visualize is that during any of the lifts, this space between your arm and your body is going to be called the red zone. Okay, the red zone is the danger zone. Through most of the lifts, we do not want to have space between our arm and our body. If there's a lot of red zone, you're going to be loading a lot of your back instead of your hips, and you're also not going to be getting as good of a connection on your kettlebell jerk. So for example, on the swing and the snatch, on the way up, you want to make sure that your arm and your hip stay connected as you're pushing through so that you get this transfer from your hips to your arm. At the top of the swing and the snatch, obviously you're going to have some red zone, but throughout the way up, you want to sync those hips with the arm so that we don't have any red zone until the very end. Similarly, on the way down, we want to wait for our arm to eliminate the red zone before we push the hips back. So if you let your hips come back early, there's going to be a lot of red zone. Now I'm loading mostly my back and I'm not letting my hips do all the work. So waiting for that arm to come down, hit your waistband before you scoop the hips back. Okay, so I'll show you real quick in the swing. I'll give you a good example and a bad example. So what we don't want to see is the arm staying really far, okay? We're going to have a big red zone. If I swing like this, I have a lot of red zone. I'm really pulling on my shoulder, fatiguing my arm, and I'm going to end up feeling it in my low back, especially with a heavy weight. So what I want it to look like is I want my hips and my arm to work together to eliminate that red zone. So you notice there's very little space between my arm and my body until this top position. Through the rest of the swing, and even the snatch, I want to eliminate that space. So I want to spend as little time as possible with a red zone during all my lifts. Similarly, on the kettlebell jerk, on my first dip, the reason I don't want to take my hips back is because what? Now I'm creating a red zone, space between my arm and my body. So on our first dip, we want to keep that red zone away by just sinking the elbow and hip together. Now there's no red zone. I'm getting a better connection of elbow to hip, and this is going to help me launch up more effectively on my jerk, simply using my hips. So if you've taken a workshop with me before, or if you've had some coaching from me, you probably already know this term, the red zone, but I found a lot of people find it really useful to visualize as something to visualize to make their technique more precise. So whether or not you're doing kettlebell sport or just lifting kettlebells hardstyle technique, this is going to help you a lot. So stay safe, protect your back, and have a good technique by eliminating your red zone.